I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, September the 27th, brought to you in part by Livestock by Norbrook. Livestock delivers the same fast and long-active broad-spectrum activity that you expect from a telithromycin injection or generic Draxxin. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa. Unionville had a big sale on Tuesday and the prices were out of this world. They had those famous Rockin' R steers. They had 4 loads of them. The loads averaged 872 pounds with an average price on those loads of $251.15. The next big special at Unionville Livestock Market will be on October the 8th. And then they're going to have a special every other Tuesday the rest of the month in October there. At Creston Livestock Market up in southern Iowa there, they've got a big special coming up this Wednesday. It's an all vaccinated calves and yearling special there. They've got tons of their numerous reputation consigners there, including the Weiss Farms there with 450 head of 750 to 900 pound steers right off the grass, guys. So don't miss that special at Creston Livestock Market in Creston, Iowa. You can watch either of those sales at Unionville or Creston on DVAuction.com. Get a hold of them early so they can get you approved to bid. Pleasant surprise, and on Thursday we've just been rocking along there all week here with a pretty friendly CME cattle futures and higher grass yearlings, because they're running out, and we've got more balling calves coming behind them and makes them look even better. But just kind of rocking along there. I think most of us, apparently not the cattle sellers, but a lot of the industry was thinking we were probably going to sell cattle around steady there. On the Fed Cattle Exchange, that online platform to sell fat cattle with Central Stockyards, they held an online fat cattle auction both Wednesday and Thursday morning, and they passed lower bids of 182, and they passed those bids on all the cattle that they had consigned there. But then on Thursday, moments after the sale and before 9 o'clock in the morning, the packers started calling back in, and they sold their entire show list at 184, which would have been a buck higher. And that was really the first sign that I had heard of that facts were going to be higher on Thursday. And you know, they sold those at 184. They started buying other cattle in the country in Texas and Kansas and the southern plains there at 184. Then it went to 185, and then I even heard some 185 and a half. And it happened the same way in the northern plains, just a tick higher than that. So I mean, it was just I'm not sure what happened. It's like your packers all of a sudden decided that they were caught short bought and needed some cattle around them to cover their needs, even though the slaughter has been really light, and you know, they've been struggling with box beef cutout values that have been lower and sharply lower here for the last couple of weeks with some seasonal pressure there. But all of a sudden, packers just decided they needed cattle, and they needed them now. And so we ended up having a great day, and it was a pleasant surprise. Pretty much everybody that I talked to was a little bit shocked at the way that it progressed there, especially in Texas. You just don't see that in Texas. You don't see, you know, selling cattle at this or trying to get this and then you get that and then this and this and this. It doesn't happen anymore in Texas like that. They don't have enough competition because they don't sell enough cattle in a negotiated manner to see a progressively higher market like that. You hardly ever see that. But you saw it on Thursday in Texas, even more so in Kansas. There's fewer cattle on feed in Kansas than there are any of the other major areas in comparison to last year. So maybe they are getting kind of tied around. And I'm hearing a lot of feedlots saying, you know, I don't care what Cattle on Feed report says, we don't have a lot of cattle for sale right now. And they were saying that our fourth quarter on feed numbers are going to be just about like a year ago, and a lot of people are saying no, they're not that high. We've been selling them right along, even though the carcass weights are so much higher, and they're making up for a lot of cattle that don't exist. But we are seeing Hurricane Helene come in the southeast there, hit ground there Thursday night and doing some pretty big devastation to Florida and going up through Georgia and doing a lot of damage up there, a lot of flooding and things like that. That's going to affect some trade out that way. But just a pretty darn good week here after going through a couple of months of down markets. Then the previous week here to this last one, we kind of shored things up a little bit, and then caught a little bounce here. So pretty darn good. You guys need to check out the 777 Ranch Replacement Heifer Special. It's going to be at Payne County Stockyards in Perkins, Oklahoma. That's a DVAuction broadcaster, and we are going to be broadcasting that special sale. It's going to be on Saturday. They've got 300 guaranteed bred heifers, and they're going to be out of Express Ranch Genetics. And then all those heifers are bred to low birth weight Gardner bulls. The bulls were turned out in April, and they were turned out for 60 days. And these are going to be guaranteed bred heifers. It's going to happen on this coming Saturday at Payne County Stockyards in Perkins, Oklahoma. If you can't get there, you want some of these premium genetic bred stock in there, some young bred heifers there to add to your herd, get on to DVAuction, get a hold of them in Perkins, Oklahoma there at Payne County Stockyards. Tell them you want to be approved, give them some information where they know you're all right, get approved so you can get in there and bid on those. If you can get there, they're going to have a free brisket lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and then the sale happens at 1 o'clock. So that is going to be a really special deal. You don't get an opportunity to buy that kind of genetics, guys. And they are going to sell them in 5 and 10 head lots. They're going to give you an option for a load, and you're going to take a gate cut if you want to load, but they're pretty much peas in a pod, guys. And it's a really premier sale. Now, here today at Nevada Livestock Marketing, I'm coming to you from Fallon, Nevada. We're going to have a special feeder cattle auction on Friday. About 2,500, mostly yearlings, going to be some calves in the mix too, and it'll be a lot of those high altitude desert cattle there, guys, and they're hard as rocks. Sale's going to start at noon Pacific or 2 o'clock Central, and it's going to be a good sale. A lot of the consigners have said that they're going to donate, 1 or 2 head to the Trump rally that's happening on Saturday. Instead of peeling those off and selling them one at a time Saturday evening for the Trump cattle sale, we're just going to go ahead and sell them and then average one off to donate to the Trump 47 rally. But on Saturday, going to have the Trump roping. Going to start in the morning there. They've got breakaway roping, they got steer stopping, they've got team branding, they've got some fancy buckles they're going to give away, guys. They're going to have then we're going to have the Trump rally in the afternoon, and we're going to sell the non-cattle items that we have. We got a lot of cool items. That Trump rally will be on DVAuction.com. You can watch it there, and you can bid on those non-cattle items if you would like to. And then as soon as we get done with those, we're going to go into the sale barn and we're going to sell the donated cattle for the Trump campaign. And you can view and bid on that sale too on DV Auction on Saturday. So check that out. Don't miss out on that. They're going to keep the roping entries open until they start the roping on Saturday with the breakaway, the steer stopping, and the branded. And then on Sunday, it's the muley roping. They're going to leave those open until the roping's about to start there too. But big event, Fallon, Nevada, battleground state. We got some speakers coming in from the Conservative Political Action Committee, and we're going to have a good time. We got a band coming in from Nashville. We're going to have free food there, and it's going to be quite a time there at Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada. You can pretty much check out everything happening there on DVAuction.com. Let's talk about your board. On Thursday, October live cattle futures were up $1.05 at 184.10. December was up 50 cents at 184.82. Your back months were up 15 cents to up 35 cents. September feeder cattle up just 2 cents. Of course, it's trying to get lined up with your CME cash feeder cattle index, and I'd say it's sitting in a pretty good spot right between your real-time index and your CME cash feeder cattle index. October feeder cattle up 90 cents, so you saw the gains there at 246.92. Then your back months were from steady to 92 cents higher. Your grains, December corn was down 2 cents a bushel at 413.25 on Thursday. November beans down 12.25 cents a bushel at 1041. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for December down 2 cents at 579 a bushel. Your fat cattle trade brought to you by Legacy Beef Cooperative. Be a part of this cooperative, which is going to own a piece of Cattleman's Heritage Beef Plant near Council Bluffs, Iowa, guys. But your fat cattle trade on Thursday, early in Iowa, they sold 2,400 head. I know there was a lot more than that sold in the afternoon, but this is up through 2 o'clock when your packers turn that in to mandatory price reporting with USDA. But 2,400 head confirmed, about 3,200 head for the week, and a lot more than that on Thursday. But live price 185 to 186. I heard from private sources there was some 187 late in the day, and I even heard from one private source that farmer feeder there that had some real premium cattle sold them at 188 to a cow killer that's needing to fill in their schedule with some fat cattle, and they wanted the real premium stuff, and they gave a big premium for those cattle. So that's the market, guys. Your dress prices from $290 to $295. Dress market be steady to $3 higher. Live price be sure $1 higher, $2 higher in spots. Nebraska sold 1,300 as of 2 o'clock, but a lot more than that later in the afternoon on Thursday, from 184.5 to 186, and the dress price in Nebraska that was quoted was 292. Now Kansas sold 6,000 early on Thursday. I told you it broke loose early, like right before 9 o'clock in the morning, and live price from 184 to 185, $1 to $2 higher. Texas 4,100 head from 184 to 185.5. So that's a good market there, guys. Better than what we were really expecting. And I know we can always grumble about how the price needs to be higher, but once in a while you get a pleasant surprise, and this was one of those days. Kelowna, Iowa fat cattle auction had 680 head. The conventional fat cattle in Kelowna, Iowa through the ring sell from 185 to 195.50. You guys were pretty impressed with that direct market until I told you about a market with competitive bidding in an auction setting. But that was $1 higher than last week at Kelowna, Iowa. How about box beef cutout values? They were down again. And choice cuts down $1.80 on Thursday afternoon at $296.37. They sold some dressed fat cattle for $295. That's not paying those packers much to get that cut up into pieces and ready to go in the box, right? $1.37 a pound on that deal. You know, they're not getting rich. You know, at least the last part of this week, they are getting rich as a whole, but we don't feel sorry for them. We just noticed that they don't have a lot of margin compared to what they normally do. But selects were down 91 cents at 282.37. Your slaughter up through the first 4 days of the week, 487,000, and picking up a little bit on Thursday whenever there were rumors that it was going to be lighter and there were going to be plants shutting down part of the day. We didn't see anything like that. 487,000 through the first 4 days of the week. That's 6,000 less than last week, which was pretty impressive, and 17,000 less than the same week a year ago. Your actual slaughter information come back for the week ending September the 14th and had an all-time, for any time of the year, record high average steer carcass weight of 945 pounds. Wow. It hasn't been very long ago, guys, when there was just stiff discounts for any carcasses weighing over 950, and now we have an average dressed steer carcass weight of 945 pounds. It's tickling these packers to death because it's giving them more tonnage to help them out of the problem they're having here with tight supplies of cattle. But that 945 pounds was 4 pounds bigger than just the previous report and 26 pounds bigger than the same report a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services, that's Dakota Moss there in Oklahoma City, and all of these agents that work with him, and they're all very, very well up to speed with the LRPs. Find one you're comfortable with. Don't everybody call Dakota. I mean, I'm sure he'd love to have everybody, but he's got these agents out there for a reason, guys. Check them out and take advantage of the recent bounce in the out front futures or traded future months on your CME cattle futures. Call the LRP specialists and get something tied down for some cattle you're going to turn out this fall. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Thursday, sitting at 246.39. That was up $1.08. It's gained a lot of ground here this week and some late last week. But good sales on Thursday. I'm going to tell you all about them here in just a second. But up $1.08. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 244.20. But it's going to gain some ground before it has to meet up there with that spot September feeder cattle futures. Big sale on Friday. Also, besides the one we're having at Nevada Livestock Marketing, going to have a special sale there with my buddy Justin Tupper at St. Onge Livestock, St. Onge, South Dakota. They've got 1,000 head of yearlings, 800 or 900 calves. They'll be top quality. They're starting with the yearlings at noon after the weigh-up cows, and as soon as they're done with the yearlings, they're going to get on the calves. Check them out at DVAuction.com, happening here this Friday, today. How about your big sales on Thursday? Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas had 2,900 head. It was a good sale. It was mostly featured around a big consignment of fancy thin flesh yearlings, nearly 1,000 of them, guys. And the market reporter there said that those sold out of sight and were $10 to $12 higher from some cattle that they sold last week in that weight group that probably weren't nearly as thin and weren't nearly as fancy, so I'm not sure why they called it that much higher. But other steers were unevenly steady, and some feeder heifers sold steady to $3 lower. But I did look at those bigger weights of feeder steers there at Pratt, and they had 437 head of 8-weight feeder steers in Pratt altogether. They averaged 851 pounds with a weighted average price on all of them of $254.75, averaging over 8.5, guys. Very impressive. How about 522 head of the 9-weight steers in Pratt on Thursday, averaged 954 on the heavy side, also at 238.81. Very impressive yearling quotes there out of Pratt, Kansas. How about Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas, straight north of there, 2,700 head there. And poor market reporting didn't really call a trend on anything. They just said that they had a lot of calves and a lot of them were unweaned. But still, they had some impressive quotes. And how about these 8-weight yearling feeders? 53 head of them weighed 853 in Salina, Kansas at 251.75. I thought that was plenty good. How about Billings Livestock Commission in Billings, Montana? They sell 90 steers, weigh 717 at 276.50. Big time quote there. Ogallala Livestock Auction in Ogallala, Nebraska had a special sale, and they sell 83 steers, weigh 937 at 250.50. Ogallala has recently added DV Auction Broadcasting. You can view and bid their sales on DV. How about Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota? My buddy Jared Herman there doing a good job with that sale, and Cherokee, Oklahoma. But 58 light steers there in Mitchell, South Dakota weighed 422 at $3.75 a pound. You didn't know they'd still bring that, guys, but they will. You get some good ones in there. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday, your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, is a sale that I don't think I've ever talked about or give a quote from before, but we recently hooked them up with DV Auction Broadcasting. Now I'm getting all of their quotes, and they're very impressive. Napoleon Livestock in Napoleon, North Dakota. I think on my previous broadcast I said South Dakota. That just rolled off the tongue easy. It wasn't like I wasn't just there less than 2 weeks ago, but Napoleon Livestock, Napoleon, North Dakota, sells 71 steers, weighed 844 at $261. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.